It's going to be played on Newkirk, spawning in the bottom right-hand position as the blue Protoss from Woongjin Stars. His name is SOS.
His opponent spawning as a red Protoss, playing for SK Telecom T1. His name is Rain, also known as Chung Yun Chung.
Yep, so both of these guys, we've already mentioned how solid overall they are. And, I mean, it really is a toss-up. It could go either way. There's no clear favorite here.
Yes, but of course in StarCraft 2, SOS does lead over Rain 2-1. Especially in round number 3 on Akelon Wastes. Actually on Akelon Wastes, Rain did get the first victory from SOS.
Oh, okay. So then I guess he struck back there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's PvP. Nothing's gone on yet, guys. Sorry, we have nothing interesting to report from this game quite yet, but I'm sure things will become action-packed quite soon here. I noticed that you are sweating like a pig, man.
Well, it's because of this room.
Yeah, this room has no air conditioning, so we're quite hot right now. Trying to survive.
No, not even a ventilation, but, SOS did win that Incheon Indoors Asia, I don't know how to translate that, but there was some tournament where they try to pick out the top 2 representatives for Korea, and SOS did defeat Life 2-0 in the finals.
Oh, okay. Nice. It's pretty cool. I thought Parting got through, but I guess it was SOS.
It was SOS and Life.
All right, nice. Not bad at all. Then SOS showing his superiority in StarCraft over arguably the best Zerg player right now in StarCraft 2.
And of course, in the most wins for this season, Rain and Innovation in the first place with 22 wins. However, SOS trailing right behind them with 21 wins.
I like to point out that the number 1 wins is just as hotly contested as the overall first place, or I guess the top 4 teams in Pro League, because the teams, they just keep changing around. It's going to be different every week. Basically, they're playing musical chairs. That's what's happening.
Oh yeah, definitely true. And then finally, we have Rain scouting around the map. SOS is going to be the player who's going for the 2 gateways this game.
Yep, that's what it looks like here. He's grabbing the second gateway, not seeing a second gateway from Rain quite yet here. It looks like he's just going to go ahead, grab that warp gate technology, and put up his tech a little bit faster potentially than his opponent, but opting instead to get that mothership core out very fast. And you know what? He can get the sentry and be defended at his ramp, and he can just send the mothership core over to SOS's main base, scout him, maybe do a little bit of harassment.
Oh yeah, this is actually I have to say a standard play. If you open up a gateway, use the mothership core to scout out your opponent after seeing the 2 gateways, because you don't know what kind of tech your opponent is going to go for. Using the mothership core is going to arrive inside your opponent's natural main base before there's enough stalkers out to defend against the mothership core to drive it away, and all you have to do is recall back to the main base and get enough units out to defend against what your opponent has. But look at this. Rain, he's going for the Twilight Council. He has a probe outside of his opponent's base.
Yeah, so is he going to go for that Blink Tech, or will he go for the Dark Templar play? Look at this, though. Stalker moving out, going to instantly snipe off that probe there, and it may also go ahead and scout out that pylon momentarily as well. Actually, yeah, it does look like that pylon was scouted, and we do have a Dark Shrine on the way from Rain here.
All right, so now the Dark pylon, yes, it was, like you said, it was scouted, and SOS is going to try to take it down immediately before Rain can get any units out using this pylon.
Yeah, I also want to point out that SOS is sending his mothership core over to Rain's main base here, so he is going to eventually be able to scout. Now the sentries are going to scare it away, but okay, it looks like SOS does not want to commit to scouting with that mothership core.
But the probe getting taken down once again. This is going to delay Rain's timing push.
Yeah, by a lot actually, and he has to warp in his DTs at his main base essentially.
Yeah, instead now it's SOS who's going to put some pressure against the Rain. He sees that there's no expansion after seeing the 2 sentries, so now it must be ticking inside his head. Why are you playing so defensively if you're not taking a natural expansion for yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question here, and we do see the Stargate opening.
Well, there's
for
Nexus finally.
there's the expansion from Rain going to match SOS in production, but we do have a Stargate on the way from SOS is just about to complete here, and the real question is, yes, we do see an Oracle, so he will be quite well prepared against the DT attack.
Yes, but it also depends on how he's going to use the Oracle, because now the DTs has to walk in from Rain's main base to SOS's main base, and it's going to take a long time, so it really depends on what he decides to do with the Oracle. Is he going to move out and try to harass the probe as much as possible, or is he going to use it defensively?
Yeah, that is the question here. Now, the hallucinated Phoenix from both sides will be able to scout everything. And yes, it looks like that Stargate is spotted by Rain, so he will do his best to deal with that here. And, oh, look at that. The Phoenix, it does scout the Dark Shrine, so there's no reason why that Oracle won't stay home. And look at that, even moving back from halfway across the map instantly, and that's going to coincide perfectly with the Dark Templar hitting that expansion. Yeah,
actually, he's getting nice kills with the DTs. The DT will get taken out. However, how many kills does it have?
Oh, we may not ever find out. Okay, it's got
3 kills.
3 kills, and the DT does die. So overall, not really worth it for Rain, but he's not in a terrible position as well. I mean, he is a little bit behind on supply right now, about 10-ish or so. But he is going into the Robotech against the essentially just Phoenix Tech of our Protoss player SOS here.
You also have to account for the fact that now SOS cannot move freely around the map until he gets the Observer out, because if he really wants to move out on the map, he needs constant detection, and the only way he could have it is making constant oracles while getting the Observer out. So until that first Observer comes out, he can't move around the map. It seems like he's going for Immortal first.
Yeah, actually, a little bit curious. SOS, he's not continuing his Stargate production at all here. He sees the Robotech, but he's saying, well, I'm going to get the Robo as well. So
yeah,
I guess he really just wants to commit to that Colossus-based unit composition.
The thing is that you could get as many Phoenixes out as possible, but at some point in the game, if your opponent is also not going for the Stargate, then you need to make sure you can match the ground count. If not, then you're going to die right away. I mean, if you start out Stargate versus Stargate, then yes, going for the mass Phoenix is the answer. If your opponent does not go for the Stargate, then you need to make a decision. You know, do I risk it and try to get as many Void Ray out as possible before the timing attack comes, or do I follow up with the Robo and get the Colossus out?
All right, looks like this Oracle doing a little bit of harassment here. Grabs 3 probes before moving out there.
Ooh,
and just
Fleet Beacon.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
SOS.
Oh,
he's gonna
get Tempest to counter the Colossi. Yes, yes.
He's gonna mix a few Tempests with the Colossus, and that's gonna get him into perfect position. However, can he actually get the critical amount of Tempests out? Remember, you want to get some Tempests out to put your opponent out of position, but you also want to make sure you don't overcommit to the Tempest.
That is true, but as long as Rain continues this Colossi production, and he is going for the double Robo as well. But look at this. Rain will scout what his opponent's up to. He does see the Tempest production on the way. So this is going to prompt something from Rain here. And how is he going to deal with this? That's the real question.
Well, the first answer is going for the Blink, because he knows that his opponent is going to have Sky Toss army, so he needs the Blink Stalkers to deal against what his opponent has. Eventually, well, it really depends on what SOS decides to get with the Stargate. If he just makes few Tempests, then all Rain needs is Blink Stalkers. If SOS starts adding in Void Rays, then Blink Stalkers plus the Storm is going to be the answer for Rain, because he's so far behind when it comes to the Stargate tech compared to his opponent.
And we still see that SOS just completely ahead in supply right now. Really just maintaining a solid advantage here. Going to scout out his opponent. Make sure, okay. Oh, you are not making anything out of those Robos. Quite interesting here. So, you know, there are 2 Colossi out, but that means that we only need to see like maybe 2 or 3 Tempest Max from SOS here. I mean, he could get more, which would be really cool in an army composition. But he only has 1 Stargate up right now, and he probably won't make too many more at this point. Alright, so that Tempest does join the main army here, and we're just seeing really wonky unit compositions now in PvP. This certainly would have not been possible at all in Wings of Liberty, because the Colossi was king in PvP, basically.
Yeah, and usually at this point we will say throw away the Stalkers because they are useless, trying to get as many probes as possible. But now for Rain, he can't suicide these Stalkers anymore. He needs to make sure he has some anti-air with the Blink Stalkers, so like we said, is slightly, you know, it looks kind of similar to Wings of Liberty style, but it's certainly different in today's match.
Certainly is. So both players looks like they want to gear up to take a third base, and we do see Rain. He wants to apply some pressure here, but I mean, against the Tempest, against the Immortals as well, I mean, he can't really do anything against that, and one Stalker being traded on both sides here.
And SOS's Oracle still alive and well, trying to harass the third base and the Natural at the same time. Rain, he knows that the Oracle's over there, places some Stalkers around the map, but look at this now. We have the Templar Archives, and I would like to see him actually adding in some Archons and possibly the Storms later on when he has the third base up and running.
Yeah, I would love to see some Storms in PvP. That would just be so cool to see here. And I'm sure we will eventually see some Archons added in as well. And we are seeing another Colossi and a War Prism being built by Rain here, and continued Tempest production by SOS. So, I mean, Tempest kind of card counter Colossi, man. So I'm not sure if this is the best decision from Rain here.
Oh yeah, it seems like he wants to erase the ground army and finish off SOS's main army using those Stalkers, because remember, Tempest does have a long range, but it's not as strong as many people think.
Yeah, the DPS for the Tempest is actually atrocious, but the real power comes through being able to deal with massive air units, which Colossi are considered ground and air units, so the plus damage is applied to the Colossi as well.
True. Yeah.
So that's one big thing to point out here in why Tempests are being made, and just the range of them allows you to really just zone out your opponent. But now Rain moving in with a War Prism, and there's nothing really here at SOS's main base here, and he's like, oh crap, I better move back now. And we're going to have 3 charge lots in the main base.
But those are DTs.
Oh, those are DTs, you're right. And where is the detection from SOS here? I think he's making a cannon, but that's all he's making right now. And these Tempests, they may be able to snipe that War Prism in time, but no, it looks like it will get away. And we still don't see any detection of these DTs. Oh, never mind. Observer there. The DTs are thwarted.
Seems like the second DT also got taken out. That was trying to go to the Natural, trying to split up as much as possible and trying to buy as much time, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Now, SOS is sitting on 5 Tempests, and it seems like Rain, he wants to move out slightly on the map, trying to see if there's any proxy pylons around the map and trying to take it out one by one.
Yeah, a little bit more harassment coming here from Rain. We do see that SOS wants to go ahead and grab that 4th base. That would definitely put him in a solid position over his opponent. Supplies have really started to even out for both players, but we have a very different unit composition on both sides here. And now it looks like we're going to have an engagement here. These Colossi, though, can they run away from the Tempest? That's the real question.
Yeah, this is the engagement that Rain does not want at this point. He wants to buy enough time to get more units out and harass with the War Prism inside the main base. SOS doesn't want to give his opponent too much time, but look at this.
DTs and Zealots in the main base of SOS. He does have a cannon. He is warping in a few Stalkers here, but now at the same time, SOS, he wants to start sieging on one of these expansions here, and I think he has the better army, but look at this. Rain, his harassment has been excellent this game. He's forced to cancel on the 4th base, but at the same time, we do see SOS, he is going to be
out
able
of
to
position.
Base.
He needs to watch out. He needs to save the Tempest until the very last second. He doesn't want to get sniped by the Blink Stalkers. That's at the Natural.
All right, and the 3rd base does go down, so now Rain is on 2 bases. SOS still on 3, but he has to deal with the constant harassment at the main base, and I think he may have just lost in the main base there. There's still a few units going on there, or a little bit of action going on there, and SOS actually supply blocked here. The Zealots really just being as annoying as possible.
Yeah, but he also needs to take out 1 base because his opponent actually took out a base, and the other answer is just push out and outright win the game. Both players are supply capped at 177 and 175. But remember, SOS does have the Tempest, and with this terrain, it's not favorable for Rain.
All right, Rain, he's getting some good storms off on this Protest army, hitting absolutely everything here. But, I mean, the problem is those are very beefy units. You have the Immortals, the Archons, and what is Storm going to do to them? And the Tempest there, they just pretty much obliterated those Colossi there. And now Rain, he is on the run. And the Stalkers, you know, they're not going to be able to deal with these Immortals too cost efficiently.
Yeah, if he can just take out the Immortals, he can go for the Tempest one by one. But look at the Tempest just target firing on the Colossus. GG! And the score evens up 1-1 with SOS taking a victory against Rain.
Yeah, so Rain there, I mean, he knew the Tempests were coming, but he didn't bother getting any Tempests of his own. He didn't go for any Void Rays. He just said, I'm going to get Storm and Colossus and hope it works out. But as we're seeing here, that is not what you do in PvP.
Yeah, actually, Field the Tempests were out of position when SOS decided to go for the third base. I was hoping Rain used. I was hoping that